Hey everybody, welcome back. Talked about approximately 0 Isaac-related stuff in the last episode, and that's okay. 2 guppy what is this world? 2 guppy they turned me into a real YouTuber with this seed. 2 guppy items? I gotta put that in the thumbnail. PKKC, KVKC. Look at this, seed is weird. We got 3 HP, 2 guppy items. What a strange world we live in. Almost made me into Mathis Games temporarily there. I lost my dour air of truculence. And believed in the goodness of a world that leaves much to be desired sometimes. I don't know, now we're getting like too dour. That's more dour than me. We're getting into Nicholas territory. Okay. Now. Crack it. Crack it. Crack it. Crack it. Crack it. Crack it. Well, I can crack the poop, but I can't crack my feelings. Last run was, what does that mean? Don't even sweat it. You're crazy in the coconut. We had an amazing run last time. It started great. We begged to not get the D-Infinity as our starting dice, and then we didn't get the D-Infinity as our starting dice. We got it later, and we used it to re-roll our run into something much, much stranger. We went from like Polyphemus to all of a sudden a huge bouncing tier that also by the end of the run exploded. How weird was that? What I would love to do here is get enough money to get car battery, and that would be a pretty ridiculous start for us. Car battery, Guppy's head, 3 HP. You know, 1 item away from becoming Guppy if the mood strikes us, if the conditions are right. Any chance you could consider? Oh, he's done it! What a nice guy. Keys aren't helping me. Bombs help me. HP helps me. Keys don't help me. Why don't keys help me? What am I gonna do with them? What does help me is HP. Because I do see the Tinted Rock there as well, but HP allows me to walk on the spikes in that self-sacrifice. Yeah, I see it, okay? It allows me to walk on the spikes in the self-sacrifice room, maybe get a bomb out of it, or just get enough money to make it happen. But yeah, I think we're I mean, you're only going to give me a Spirit Art here and a cube of meat, so I think we're going to have to accept that we're probably just sunk, unless we want to take too many risks. There wasn't a bomb for sale in there. What? The English language can be hard sometimes. There wasn't a bomb for sale in there, was there? Because if there was, I would like to go back and purchase it. There was no bomb for sale, I think. I think we still shoot for the moon. We try something like this. Fair enough. We were looking for a bombs or key. That's the most sensible option in my world. Now, you know, the range down is basically a neutral pill. That might as well be a placebo. And we are going to hope that we get an arcade on our next floor, and then the world's our burrito. What do you think is a good burrito price? We asked this. There's something called the Big Mac Index. It measures the price, of course we get a bomb, of a Big Mac as a measure of the cost of living. Let me check this out. Big Mac Index, 2018. It's from The Economist, apparently. So you know it's legit. Yes, hello, I'm at The Economist. I want to see the Big Mac Index. Canada is like right on 0 in the Big Mac Index. And with the United States, we're right there. Switzerland, Norway, and Sweden are paying between 10 and 30% more for a Big Mac. That's crazy talk. Meanwhile, in Hong Kong, that's crazy. You're paying like minus 50% for a Big Mac in Hong Kong? That's out of control. Anyway, I have no idea how to interpret that because I basically have no economic background whatsoever. But I got my own Big Mac Index to determine the cost of living. Or I don't think that's what the Big Mac Index actually determines. Now that I looked at it, it's more like, you know, where currency is overvalued and undervalued by chance. Either way, check this out. Hey, what? I thought that one glowed, and then it gave me a spider. What a ripoff. And it's the hot dog index. We have this conversation on the NLSS like once every 2 years. What's the cost of a hot dog where you live? What would be considered an outrageous hot dog? What would be considered an extremely cheap hot dog? In Vancouver, if I went to a hot dog cart at the side of the street, I would probably expect to pay $5 to $6 for a hot dog. It's expensive. Now, you got to talk about what you're dealing with. I'm trying to get down to brass tacks. You know, I'm talking a boiled hot dog, probably a toasted bun. I'm not talking bargain bin. Not boiled, sorry, grilled. I'm not talking bargain bin like, hey, we gave you a piece of white bread rolled up and took a hot dog out of the steamer, okay? I'm not talking about a bougie hot dog. I'm just talking about one that's grilled. Maybe they'll toast the bun and they got some toppings there for you that aren't just ketchup, mustard, and relish. I would expect that to be $5 to $6. It's expensive, I'll admit. More expensive than it's worth. Welcome to the city. But I feel like a burrito is almost in the same category. I would expect to pay a minimum $7.95 for a burrito here. Now, I might not be infallible. I could easily, you know, you might be talking about, you're watching this video and you're like, well, I go to Red Burrito and a burrito's $6.30. Fair enough. But what's a burrito? I'm not talking a frozen burrito. I'm talking at a cantina or a taqueria. How much would you expect to pay for a burrito where you live? And what would be an outrageous burrito? If I went to an establishment and they were like, this burrito is $14 and it comes with no sides, I would say you're crazy. Even at $11, I think I'd start to be like, I don't know. Because, like, what's an artisan foot-long Subway sandwich? In Canada, at least, it probably runs you around $8.50 to $9 by itself, no combo. $5 foot-long days are over. You can still get some cheaper ones, of course, but you get what I mean. Anyway, where was I going with this? The long and the short of it is, hot dogs are too expensive. You know where you can get a cheap hot dog? IKEA. IKEA might actually be the smartest store on planet Earth. I don't know if many other people, I don't think it's rare, but I don't know if it's exactly the most common situation to grow up the way that I grew up. My family life was fine, but instead of, you know, I was an only child, my parents didn't want to pay for a babysitter, so whatever errands they ran, I had to run them with them. And when I was like 0 to 5, that was fine. From like 6 to 12 or 13, it sucked, dude. It sucks so bad. Every Saturday, go to the mall, look at some dress shirts, eat at the food court. I mean, the food court is the best part. No doubt about it. Get some chicken fingers. That part I can get down with even to this day. There's just like a lot of shopping. You gotta cut him some slack. It was a different era. There was no online shopping at this point in my existence. But the other thing is we went to furniture stores. Like, they didn't even buy furniture, but my parents, they do this thing that I think you take the things you want from your parents and you throw the rest of the personal traits that you don't want in the trash. My parents will be like, we're buying 2 desks next year. And they'll spend like a year looking at the desks online. They'll spend like an hour a day sometimes. This is not a joke. They would tell you the same thing. They'll be like, oh, I spent, 45 minutes this morning looking at lounge chairs for when we get that new island put in. If you love doing that, by all means. Thank God the internet exists, because they used to have to go out and do it in person. And it was horrible. Where does IKEA come in? IKEA knows that shopping sucks. They make the store very kid-friendly. First off, there's like a little playground inside of it. I've never been in because I don't have a child, and they really frown upon childless adults going into the playground. The equipment's not meant for you. This all makes perfect sense. They also have a food court, and the food in the food court is good, and I'm not being facetious. It's good. Is it Michelin starred? No, but it's good. It's not like, again, it's not boiled hot dogs, although you can get a hot dog there. You can get like a a meal with a side and some vegetables that's actually cooked. It's like cafeteria style, but not like my high school cafeteria, like a private yuppie high school cafeteria. At our high school, you can ask Malf, he'll tell you the same thing. We have microwaved hamburgers and cheeseburgers at our high school, and French fries. And then Fridays, they had fish and chips. That was the dream day. So it's really, as an adult, even still, and it frustrates Kate, I'm sure, sometimes. I don't, you know what? I'm actually going to go do the room, because I want the money to go to the shop. I don't like to shop. For anything. It's like the problem is with the verb of shopping. It's not, it doesn't matter what we're looking for. I'm just like, yeah, just go with that one, we'll go home. This is a pacemaker. This is your colostomy bag. What do you don't have any preference? My preference is to be in the car and going home as soon as possible. It's got to be frustrating. I understand that. But I love going to IKEA, even though it's a half-hour drive here, and the parking lot is Mad Max, because I know it's like $4.50. I'm getting some meatballs. I'm getting some mashed potatoes and gravy. I'm getting some lingonberry jam. They used to have $1 or $2 breakfast, but I think they've since stopped that because that's just madness. I don't even blame them. I wasn't even mad when it stopped. I was happy. Because, you know, I would talk to people and I'd be like, are they okay? They're just giving it away. That doesn't seem good for business. When they raised the prices, I was like, you know, I don't want you guys to go anywhere. I want you to be stable. Raise those prices. Do what you gotta do. And it's not like they're really making up for it in their prices of other things. Yes, it's a loss leader. But I hate, you know, people bring it up. They're like, well, you know, you come for the cheap food, but if you buy some furniture, it's worth it for them. Yeah? So, you know, you think I'm the one that's getting screwed. If I go into IKEA, I get a cheap lunch, and then I'm like, all right, we need a lamp. And then I buy a $4 lamp. I don't understand how they make money. And if they make money, and I know they do, and they make a lot of it, I don't understand why other furniture is so expensive. Now, if you're not in the know, I've recently become in the know as I've gotten a little older. You know, people expect us to have matching furniture. It turns out, IKEA doesn't have the best reputation as far as furniture goes. Now, they're not bad. I want that to be clear. It's just cheap. It's probably better than what you pay for. But, you know, nobody is ever like, you know, you don't go to grandma's house and she's like, I've had this ottoman my whole life and I bought it at IKEA for $11. You know, like $11 back then, that would have been more, but you get the idea. Our bed is kind of falling apart. It's from IKEA. We've had it for 6 years. It cost less than $200. That's like $30 a year to sleep. That's an incredibly good deal. My desk is from IKEA. It was 40 or 50 bucks. It's not a great desk. If we move, I'll be replacing it. Hopefully it was something more adjustable. I don't necessarily need a standing desk. I've been a proponent of standing desks, but only because people told me they were good for you. And apparently the conventional wisdom is actually that they are not necessarily good for you. That doesn't mean they're bad for you, but it does mean you might spend a lot of time standing up for not a very good reason. But if you like it and it's good for your back, then I'm not trying to break the illusion. But yeah, if you really want to buy a dinner table that's going to last you the rest of your life, you have to start paying more. But in order to go up a degree in furniture, you have to spend so much more. It's like every degree is logarithmic. You got to spend 10 times more to get 1% better. That doesn't make any sense. You get the idea, though. So I only took one item. I didn't take Void. I can't take Void. The reason I can't take Void is because this run kind of stinks. I'm just going to say it, okay? It's not like the run is bad, but our stats are bad. And if I lose out on Guppy's head, except for once every 6 rooms, which kind of defeats the purpose of taking Void to begin with, I'm I'm gonna have so much more trouble killing enemies. Like, we have to... Oh, okay, well. We have to do it like this, the way I see it. We can't get rid of Guppy's head. It's mission critical. Anyway, so kudos to IKEA. I don't know how you do it. You're exploiting somebody somewhere. Absolutely. You just can't offer it that cheap. It doesn't make any sense. They do make you put the furniture together yourself. Only here's the thing. They don't. You can pay them to come to your house and put the furniture together. It's more expensive, but still. You ever go to Sears? That's where we spend, like, most of my shopping time when I was younger. We went to Sears, which, until, like, 5 years ago, was a normal situation, and now people are like, whoa, Grandpa, what's life like in the Middle Ages? What was life like at Sears? I mean, it was a store, you know, you go in, you're beholden to what's on sale, you get your photos taken to the family portrait studio, get some glasses, a couple of dress shirts, and then, you know, you go home. It's kind of like a cheap department store. Now it doesn't, I just like, online shopping is actually like a better invention than the internet, even though that doesn't make any sense. We've gotten to the point where we, like, buy groceries via online shopping. Now, we go to the grocery store. We don't do the grocery delivery yet, but I have no problem with that. I'm all in. Put the future of delivery into my veins. Deliver everything as far as I'm concerned. I don't know, some people have a weird notion that, like, well, if somebody drives something to you, that's bad. But if you drive to get something, that's somehow good. It's just kind of like a ridiculous movement of the goalposts. You know, somebody already delivered the food to the grocery store. It's like if 80 years ago you were like, going to the supermarket, huh? I just drive to 14 farms every day. I get my milk at the creamery. I get my beef at the abattoir. I get my apples from the orchard down the street. All you going to your supermarkets. Bet you feel real hoity-toity, huh? Anyway. But like for non-essential stuff, like recurring stuff, we just order it online. You know why? Oh, we need some granola bars. I don't need them instantly. They're going to be here in 2 days. I still, to this day, I have no idea how they do it. Doesn't make any sense to me. It's incredible. I feel like, you know, we've been talking about this. Millennials are killing X. Millennials are killing Y. There's a few things millennials with no danger of killing, okay? Beer and coffee are going nowhere. Those are sticking around, all right? Pizza, nothing wrong with that. But as older generations move on, or to put it diplomatically, pass on purchasing decisions to their younger cohorts, I think we've only gotten through the first boom of millennials killing stuff. Because right now, we're only killing this stuff that's like, you know, the 22 to 30-year-old, well, it's probably not the right... People they're very stickler over the millennial definition sometimes. You know what I mean. They're in like that young-ish demographic where you're like, I'm an adult who buys things for themselves. And people are like, you know, well, they're not going to Applebee's anymore. I hope that's the end of it. Nah, dude. When our generation becomes like the dominant purchasing generation, nobody's gonna go to a store for anything. For anything. I mean, there's probably like a couple of things, but not many. Like, the only things I can think of going to a store for right now, and I'm going to do something with Black Rune, I promise you that. But I just want to use Ace of Spades first so we can get into our item room because there's no key for sale in our shop. It's a complicated situation here. Is like cold foods that perish. And they could even deliver those. You know how I know they can deliver those? Because there's services. You ever see Rat Race? Wayne Knight, aka Newman, delivers a human heart. That was bad. Or was it? If you can deliver a human heart.
Excellent.
No, thank you. Please let me go. This X-Lax is very bad. You can deliver a cheese, is all I'm saying, okay? I think that the show has just gotten started. Run depths 1. I told you we were going slower now. Suck this up, please. Thank you. That's not helpful, but okay. What a large floor as well for a depths 1, but... Like, I live in an existence that's unfathomable. I apparently, again, glycogen depleted. I actually have a sunburn on the top of my head, which is a story that I might get into later. It's mundane, and if I don't get into it later, you're not missing anything, except that I went for a bike without sunscreen, and now I have a big old Krillin-style sunburn on the top of my head. What I was going to say is my existence is simultaneously unfathomable to anybody more than 10 years older than me. It's good. I'll take it. I'm not sure if it's good enough, but I'll take it. I have faith. And then at the same time, people that are like 5 years younger than me or more are like, why don't you... Like, you go to the grocery store 2 times a week? Are you 100? It's like... I really feel like the times are changing for retail. That's my perspective. Particularly, like, I'm really happy I don't own, like, a furniture store. I'm really happy I don't own, like, any store and mostly make free content on the internet. Because I feel like our generation is economically getting totally screwed. And I'm putting on, like, my Hello Kids voice for this as well, because I know that I've kind of managed to opt out of that, thankfully. And I'm thankful for it every day. Because you know what? So many people that do what I do don't recognize that a lot of other people in our generation have been screwed by essentially endless financial crises. And they go, well, why doesn't everybody just pick themselves up by their bootstraps, start a YouTube channel, and then be good to go? Yeah, it seems like a great idea. Why doesn't everybody on Earth just become a YouTuber? How will we eat? DoorDash. Don't even ask any questions about that. But anyway, so I'm like glad I don't sell anything, even though people are like, hey, your merch link's broken. Can I buy a t-shirt? You know, one day we're gonna fix that, I promise. we're gonna sell the best t-shirts you've ever seen. The thing is, as I get older, I don't want to sell a shirt with the cartoon bald man on it because it's kind of embarrassing, just because it's a little bit more juvenile than I would like it to be. But at the same time, I'm not a fashion designer, so I don't want to make, like, streetwear. So we end up in this weird area where, like, there's only a few different kinds of YouTuber merch. There's, like, my logo, and then there's, like, we'll lump a few things in there. There's my logo, my catchphrase, you know, stuff like that. That was fine for a period. I'm kind of over it. And then there's, like, a stylized version of my logo. And I'm like, I don't know if I can... I don't have the chops. I'm not a fashion designer, right? So those are the two right now, and I'm like, I got no clue. I respect you enough to not want to compel you to purchase a cartoon bald man on a t-shirt, is what I'm trying to say. And it's really to my own detriment, but I digress. The reason I'm happy I don't have a store that sells anything is because, like, you know, my audience is, like, pretty contemporaneous in age to myself. And whenever I'm like, I spend money, they're like, you spend money? Must be nice. And I'm like, I know. I've seen The Big Short, too. Which is the only way that I can really interface with the 2008 financial crisis, because I was in college when it happened. And then later, I accidentally fell into a job that never existed before, and I am completely out of touch, but at least I recognize it. So, like, making free stuff is real cool. It's not free because you're the product being sold because of the advertisements, and of course, you know, Twitch subscriptions and stuff like that are an increasingly large part of revenue in the current economy, but You get the idea. Hey. By the way, if you wear some of the old merch that I sold, don't be ashamed. Like I'm wearing an old Twitch shirt right now from 2014. I had to look down to see what shirt I was wearing. This is before they sold purple merch. You want a little blast from the past? Everything on Twitch is like, we're all purpled up today. Bleed purple, eat purple, drink purple. This shirt is gray. That's how old it is. There was an era where Twitch didn't sell purple merch because the purple merch was like partners only. They didn't want to dilute the value of the brand. So by the way, I bought this shirt after being a partner because I was in the weird spot where I'm like, I'm a partner and I'm relatively popular, but I don't know anybody that works at Twitch because I don't work in the Bay Area or live in the Bay Area. So I'm kind of just this outsider. I'm like Twitch North. Sometimes they would check in, send you an email. How are things at the remote outpost? Well, it's pretty good up here. Have you heard of TwitchCon? Yeah, we have the internet. It's all good. Please be 9 lives. You know, like I'm not saying this has been a hard run. It hasn't. Jesus. We've put up with enough to justify getting Guppy. And if you don't believe that, you're bass backwards, dude. Because, like, we have 9 rate of fire, 3.68 damage. We've had 2 of 3 Guppy items for the whole run. We've earned it. Whether you believe it or not, we've earned Guppy. We've put it in the time. Definitely should have gone to the shop first, but I'm a little mad. So, you see the point here. Did you guys... So, I don't want to make this like an Elon Musk thing. But at the risk of making myself look like a wealthy mine owner from the 1800s, I still like Elon Musk. And I'm going to explain why before I dunk on him, okay? I still like Elon Musk because he is a billionaire, yes, but unlike just about every other billionaire on the planet, he contributes to the, like, glorification is not the word I'm looking for. He doesn't merely hoard money for his own benefit. He works in organizations that are designed to push humanity forward. Tesla is a very environmentally friendly company, and if they ever reach like a certain level of popularity and ubiquity, that probably works. You know, the environmental benefits of the car could end up saving millions of lives. And I genuinely believe that, whether you think I'm high on my own farts or not. Now, I have seen some people be like, well, SpaceX could eventually save billions of lives. Look, I think I'm just too stupid to understand, or the time scale is way too large for me to fathom how it could save billions of people's lives, short of like an Armageddon situation, like, you know, or him, the planet's dying and he's like Michael Caine getting us all to a new planet on a colony ship or something like that. So that's why I still like Elon Musk. But he's been having a real hard time on Twitter lately. And if you haven't seen this tweet, I would really encourage you to do so. It's a tweet where Elon Musk took a picture of himself. And the tweet says, dressed up as the Marquis de Sade for a party, very popular with women who have read 50 Shades of Grey. And the picture of him, he looks like one of the vampires from What We Do in the Shadows. And, but I mean, his face is all Elon. It's the dopiest tweet for somebody who styles themselves as being like a champion of humanity and society. And it made me laugh oh so hard. And this is not meant to be used as character assassination. Again, sometimes I get annoyed, and it's a new political world that I don't fully understand, okay? I'll meet you in the middle here. I grew up, and people were like, you know, well, are you left-leaning or right-leaning? And I was like, well, I think gay people are human beings who should be able to get married. So, by default, I'm radical. Right now, at least, in, you know, the year 1997 or something, when I was 9. But now, people are tweeting Elon Musk, and they're going, hey, Elon, buy a house for every homeless person in North America or you're a cop. And he's going, I'm not a cop. And they're going, well, you're not buying a house for every homeless person in North America, are you? So, like, we think the evidence begs to differ. So and I know he's a union buster, okay? I dunked on him on the NLSS because he literally, in veiled terms, said, if you don't vote for the union, I'll put a roller coaster in the factory. Doesn't that sound like fun? And I was like, Elon, you're debasing yourself with this. That's beneath you, okay? You're gonna send us all to Mars. I'm trying to, you know, is that a tinted rock? It is. I'm trying to go to bat for you, okay? Because the public opinion, a year ago, everyone was like, Elon's Iron Man. And now people are like, we hate Elon Musk. So I'm just trying to figure out where I stand in this increasingly tumultuous political situation, right? But you've gotta see the tweets of him dressed like Dante from Devil May Cry, suggesting that he went to a party and was very popular with the women there who had read 50 Shades of Grey because of his ridiculous outfit. And here's the thing, I'm not even saying he wasn't popular with the ladies who had read 50 Shades of Grey at that party. I don't really care. Just the idea, like, this was within the last 10 years that this tweet was posted. By definition, you know? The fact that this man who owns the most prominent electrical car company and also, like, the only private company landing rockets on reusable platforms in the middle of the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans was like, check it out, Twitter. I got laid due to my stupid Halloween costume. In its own weird way. But by the way, it's so embarrassing. Yes. But it's also kind of endearing that he's actually not an android. Unlike Mark Zuckerberg. He's just a normal human being. Elon Musk is like, check it out, dude, chicks found me hot tonight. Mark Zuckerberg is like, my human wife and I ate a roast beef sandwich for the first time ever in Wyoming. So nice to meet so many flesh-based humans. So yeah. That's why I think it's still, you know, you can dunk on Elon. But I do think, you know, he's trying. I genuinely believe that. I think, you know, if you've been fabulously wealthy, like, he co-founded PayPal, right? If you've been fabulously wealthy for like 20 years like he has, he's close to being like actually Superman. So many other people, you know, and trust me, I've seen the rise and fall on YouTube. So many other people are like, man, if I ever made more than $11 an hour, I'd give 95% of it to charity. And then like a year later, they're like, there should be no income tax ever. How is it fair that I make the money and the government takes the money? That doesn't seem right. So I think I'll go to bat for him. And I'm, as always, I think one of the reasons I find myself increasingly annoyed with the internet, beyond the fact that I'm just getting older and I have less time for being disrespected in exchange for attention, is that there's so many bad faith arguments these days, and all I've ever wanted to do is argue in good faith. So if I have a disagreeing opinion with you, don't dunk me, okay? I mean, if you need the clout, go ahead and dunk me if you gotta. But, like, just tweet me and be like, hey, I really disagree with you on this issue. Here's why you're wrong. I'm not gonna go, I'm blocked, you know? That's not the kind of guy I am. So I'm open to be educated. But I know how it is now, you know? Because everybody started out in that position, and then they got in an argument with somebody who was an idiot and a jerk, and then they said, well, from now on, I'm just gonna dunk them. You know, it's too much work to try to interface in the middle. So if you got, like, a smoking gun for why I should dislike Elon more than I do, by all means. I may not necessarily agree with you, but I will read the tweet, as long as you're respectful in the tweet. I'm open to changing my mind. Because, you know, like, I'm still young enough to be in flux on my political opinions. I want to make sure I pick some good ones before, you know, I settle into that age where you never change them ever again. But for right now, I'm still relatively pro-Elon. Because, like, he's not the richest man in the world. And a lot of the richest men in the world are, like, not trying to kill the oil and gas industry. So, kudos for that, at least. Even though you are tweeting, like, in quotation marks, fake news, and that makes me very upset. You know, he's a person. People are complicated, sort of. Don't we? No, we don't have Judas' Shadow. We had Judas' Shadow last time. Don't believe the hype. Obviously, by the way, we're going to win this run. And we've been like, you know, I hate to use the term quietly, because we've been talking the entire time. But we've been quietly putting together a dossier of winning runs here that you can be a little bit proud of at the very least. Parasitoid tiers are fine. Everything else is give or take. Take it or leave it. That's what I mean to say. But it's like, you know, not bad. This was not an easy run. Well, it wasn't hard. But it started easy. And then we still have 3.68 damage. That's not an indication that the run's impossible, because our rate of fire is doubled, more or less. And every shot generates at least flies, but possibly also spiders. But considering where we started, we have not really improved as proportionally as you would expect to. I think, at least. Instead, somehow I ended up defending Elon Musk in this video, despite him wearing that ridiculous costume. I don't know, man. That's why. It really is why I get annoyed on the internet in this day and age, because, you know, the arguments don't happen in good faith anymore. I was naive, and I thought for a long time that they did. This is one of the reasons I very rarely get involved in any kind of disagreement publicly anymore. Is because there was an era, believe it or not, there was an era where you could argue with someone. Some say in whispers this still exists if you find the right people that you respect and respect you in turn. There was an era when you could argue with somebody, and one of two things could happen. They might change their mind, or you might change your mind, in light of information and perspective that you had not previously considered, or alternatively, you agree to disagree, but either way, you take away a little bit more information from an opposing viewpoint that you previously did not know. This era is spoken only of spoken of in only hushed tones in today's day and age, where as soon as you don't like what somebody is saying, you use the pejorative that describes their political affiliation and then block them or mute them to allow them to scream into the ether, which I'll admit I have done many times and I will not apologize for. I don't know if we can ever go back to that era, because the people who were on the other side of it, and that includes myself, we're inherently distrustful of any disagreement now. You know, it seems to always end destructively. It's going to be hard to get me back. I'm going to need, you know, in 35 years, I'm going to need my kids to be like, Dad, you can disagree with someone on Twitter now without them calling you a soy boy. And I'm going to be like, I doubt it. So I hit Q. I'm very upset with I actually need to go back and watch what happened there, because I thought I hit Q with the pill in my active slot. But I may actually have just ended the pseudo streak for no reason. Yes, hello, Ruka. Hi. You don't need to ask permission to come in here, just knock on the door. I'm not salty that the streak ended, because as far as I'm concerned, that's a very funny way for it to end. Either way. Thanks for watching. PKKCKVKC. It's a tough one. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. Helps us a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.